So my name's Adam Sheffield, and I'm gonna say this first as a kind of a real quick comical side note. My aunt used to say, "Put your wig on, put your wig on." Like if we were wigging out, she'd say, "Put your wig on," or and you hear like quit wigging out, and you know. So my whole thing is we got people wigging out, and they need to quit being wiggers. Quit wigging out. You know what I mean? I've been out. I grew up in Los Angeles, out of Los Angeles, by mostly around Mexicans, and like 10%, not even 10%. I'd say 2% in my 20 years, 30 years experience. No, 22 years experience. 2% were wiggers because well, that was only when they were drinking too. By the way, none of them were wigging out and all that crud when they were sober. And then I played basketball for 20 around blacks, African Americans. I guess that's the right term. Uh, I think for 20 something years, never had any problems with them. No Mexicans ever call me racist. No blacks ever call me racist. And none of them were really racist, except for maybe 2% out of the whole 20 years were wiggers. And the same thing with white people. When I was around white people a lot, sounds funny, but when I was young, I was around mostly Mexicans. But you do always have the one guy, let's just say one guy that's going to wig out, when they drink. And let's just call them wiggers. What? They're wigging out. And so my whole point of this video is we have some wiggers wigging out on a major scale right now. And I don't want it to go. I don't want it to go more up. I want it to go more down. I want people to get to Jesus and not believe the devil's lies. So you guys have seen my videos about this whole crazy, crazy stuff. Literally. Now, when I post this, I'm going to be a target. I'll probably be a target. But the truth remains is like in 20 years, 99, 98% of black people, all good, loving. I've seen some people get wigged out, just like Mexicans wig out and white people wig out. But we got some wiggers really wigging out on white people. The Department of Justice calls it the dirty war. Claims more than 25 million victims. It cost almost as many lives as the Vietnam War. FBI statistics indicate between 1964 and 94, over 25 million violent interracial crimes were committed, overwhelmingly involving black offenders and white victims. And more than 45,000 people were killed in interracial murders. By comparison, 58,000 Americans died in Vietnam. 58,000 Americans died in Vietnam. And 34,000 were killed in the Korean War. When nonviolent crimes, burglary, larceny, car theft, and personal theft are included, the cumulative totals becomes prodigious. The Bureau of Justice Statistics says 25 million nonviolent crimes admitted in the U.S. in 1992 and the survey found that 31% of the robberies involved black offenders and white victims, while only 2% in the reverse. When all the crime figures are calculated, it appears that black Americans have committed at least 170 million crimes against white Americans in the past 30 years. It is the great defining disaster of American life and American ideals since World War II. All these facts, yet by simply writing this story, by assembling the facts in this way, I would be deemed a racist by the American news media. It prefers to maintain a pathetic double standard in its coverage of Black America, a lower standard. We got a problem because I like truth. God is the spirit of truth. So I'm going to just show this and check it out. If God is truth in the spirit of truth, the false is of the devil. False witness, false realities, which is our democratic media, liberal media today. So what I'm going to do is just kind of show you this real quick. No, you know what? I think I showed you that. I think what I really got to do is blow this up. And now here's the fact. Am I a racist? No, God created all colors. God created all colors. It's about character. But the truth is if you watch that video on my YouTube about Hank Aaron hitting the home run and you hear that racist report, that tells you there's somebody that's against the whites and the blacks and the Mexicans. They want us all to war together in the lower class because they don't want us, and that's what's happening. So you have to be really in tune with God and Jesus. And when I was younger, I didn't know all that. Now I'm older, so I'm trying to help people that are younger. Do not let the devil plant a seed of bitterness in your heart, by watching the movie Roots. I had my neighbor, Mike, black dude, I used to go play dominoes and drink with him and barbecue. I asked him, I said, Mike, have you ever gone out and attacked white people for no reason? And he said, yeah, after watching the movie Roots. And I never will forget that, and of course I've had not a lot, but a couple other friends we used to play chess with. But the truth is the media has power over these people to plant a seed of bitterness. The Bible says, do not let the devil plant a seed of bitterness because it leads to hate and anger. And Jesus said hate and anger is murder. And that's what's arising, I fear, in this new age, is this deception. So do me a favor, read this, know the truth, because Omar said whites are the most threatening people to America. That is true if you want lawlessness and destruction and every violation of the 10 Commandments. Rape, murder, coveting, taking wives, all that stuff. The commandments in the 10 Commandments in those days, you'd be killed if you violated them. That's how serious it was. In this day and age, there's a whole religion out there that is exactly against the 10 Commandments. And I kind of am concerned about this African American thinking that they can do the same, not be judged for eternity. It's going to happen. You can't do that. You can't steal. You can't covet. You can't rape. You can't murder. God's still the same. He'll never change. Check that out. So the truth is I'm not racist, but everybody judges people based on their character. Do they feel safe around them? And like, that's just the way it is. Be it white, black, or, I mean, I don't hang out with white people if I think they're nuts, or blacks or Mexicans. But if they're cool, I hang out with all of them. And preferably if they love Jesus.